Hey gamers, in this episode we're going to add a new villain to our repertoire in our Mutants and Masterminds game. Today it's going to be Reginald Decker, aka Bastion. Hey gamers, welcome back to Game Master's Dungeon. I'm Brian, your Game Master. Today's video we are going to add a new villain to our roster in our Mutants and Masterminds series. I'm pretty sure this was an idea from one of the subscribers. I tried to go back to the comments, I couldn't find it. Maybe I'm just crazy, but we're going to do a man named Reginald Decker, aka Bastion. He's going to be an old man confined to a wheelchair that's going to be given a battle suit. So it's going to be kind of like a Iron Man type character with some extra quirks. If you want to know all about that stuff, stay tuned to the end. I'm going to do a little story time about this character and how he's introduced to the Fraternal Order of Evil. So, if you guys are ready, get your book, get your character sheet, and be ready to follow along while we create them. Alright gamers, so here we are. We got our PDF pulled up. We've already created the build. We're just going to get right into it. So, you look at the top, right? So, Reginald Decker is his name. Bastion is going to be his identity. It's going to be secret. Obviously, if you guys decide to use this character in a game, or you can change whatever. So I made him male. He's going to be 67 years old, 5'6", 120 pounds. He's going to have hazel eyes, gray hair. He's going to be part of the FOE, the Fraternal Order of Evil. His base of operations will be the Decker Tower, right? You're going to be like, wow, Brian, how original. Well, you got to think of, like Iron Man had Stark Tower, then it was Avengers Tower, and then they, eventually, maybe through the storyline, Reginald's going to be very rich. Maybe he will build a new base of operations for once the entire team comes together. So if you want to see if that pans out, stay tuned to later videos of different villains we'll add, and the storyline will progress. So I'm in power level 15, which gives him 225 points to work with. So I went with 64 points in abilities, 112 in powers, 5 in advantages, 30 in skills, and 14 in defenses. So we're going to get right in here. So abilities, obviously physically weak. The reason is he's going to be confined to a wheelchair for the last, maybe 10, 12 years of his life. So his physical stats have diminished. But his intellect has grown. He's also a businessman, entrepreneur, an inventor. So he has a high intellect to deal with that. He has great spatial awareness. So the awareness stat is really high. Also presence as well. He's charming when he needs to be, intimidating also when he needs to be. So he's developed this over his years as CEO of his company. He has a fighting of 8. So maybe in his younger years he trained to fight, defend himself. That's how he kept up his health, things like that. But obviously the physical stats slumped off, but his fighting skills is still sharp in the brain. We went into defenses, so we've got 10, 10, 10 in dodge, parry, fortitude, and also in will. We got 14 toughness. We'll talk about how we get all that here in a minute, because you'll see a lot of it's coming from points and defenses that I bought, because you see my physical stats are not very good, so some of this is like, woo, not that great. So I had to buff them up a little bit. Obviously, they're not like, I'm not min-maxing to the double the series power level, right? Because some of this stuff could be way higher, but then I got to take points from other stuff that makes more sense for the character. But this is still pretty well balanced. This is still pretty good. Then we're going to look at some of the stuff he's going to have down here in his powers, and that's going to help him out as well. We'll come back to offense here in just a second. So let's talk about this prototype battle suit that he's got. So we made it removable at -1 point for 5 points total. So a lot of the stuff I just took directly out of the battle suit archetype that's in the book. So if you're looking into making a character like this, reference that for a good jumping off point, and then kind of add things to make it more your own. So I give it armor plating, protection of 14 with impervious, all of it. So that gives him the toughness of 14 and attacks of 7 damage or less, or effects of 7 damage or less are ignored. Thrust jets in the suit, so he's got flight 8, so 500 miles an hour. 16 points. We got comm system, so he can communicate through radio. 8 points. The life support is very important because that's going to keep him alive because he's afflicted with some kind of disease or cancer or something that's confined him to this wheelchair. This life support system is going to help sustain him and also help him fight. It's got a sensor suite, so senses with 12 points. So we got dark vision, infravision, time sense, ultra hearing, direction sense, acute radio, extended 3, radar. That's straight out of the book from the archetype. And I thought, looking at all of them, was there anything else I would add? No, that covers everything. That's a really good build right there. It does have tactical AI. This is out of the book, but I've kind of changed it up a little bit and added some more stuff. So it's going to give him enhanced dodge, enhanced fighting, enhanced range attack, and improved initiative. So enhanced dodge of 10, improved fighting of 3, enhanced ranged attack of 15, and improved initiative of 4. This is all because the AI is going to anticipate attack patterns and things like that. So it's going to give him heads-up display of things to do. Like, this is your positioning, dodge here. This is the time to attack. We're going to get down here to his ranged ability on his gauntlet beams and his force blast. So the AI is going to help with all the targeting. He just has to basically point, and then the thing does it by himself. So that's how he's got that enhanced range attack. And then improved initiative, right? So it's going to anticipate battle conditions. So it's going to allow him to maybe go first or second in the turn. And then we got the divine power supply. So obviously the suit needs some kind of power supply, and it's going to be divine energy, divine power. If you want to know why it's going to be like that, stay tuned for the end for the story time. So I bought an array of powers. So this is straight out of the archetype as well, but I made some changes and additions to suit my character. It's got enhanced strength of 15, so the suit itself is really strong physically. You can also turn that energy from strength into, like, it's going to have gauntlets, it's going to shoot lasers like Iron Man. Range damage of 15. So the damage power is 1 point per rank, making it range is 2 points per rank. At 15 ranks, it's 30 points. So it only costs us 1 point to add this. So it's either one or the other of this. You can't do all of this at once. And then it's also got force blast. So instead of doing like long range, single target, he can just do like a cannon shot, like a shotgun. Does a big cone in front of him to hit a bunch of different targets. And that's going to be 15 ranks with cone, so area of 1 point per rank, damage 1 point per rank, so 30 points right there. But obviously the range is really short. I think it's like 30 feet or whatever it is. So it's not super long, but if he needs long range attacks, he can do the single target. Close range, he just boom, blow away minions or hit all the heroes at once or whatever that are up in his grill trying to bother him. Let's go down to advantages. So obviously he's an inventor. Okay, so he took inventor advantage. He's going to be fearless, so he's immune to fear-based effects. He's connected in the business world. He also has contacts as well, and he's well-informed. So if you want to know what these do, look in the advantages section. Basically, like well-informed, he's going to be able to make checks to gain information about something that he might know. Contacts, he's going to know people that are going to know what he needs to know. And then connected is kind of the same thing. It's just all like business-related stuff that he would have in the real world before becoming a villain. Now, we've got skills, so we bought some unarmed. So he can just hit, so while he's in the suit, he can still punch with a total plus 15. Because the strength of 15, he's going to do 15 damage, so that maxes the series power level. Deception, obviously he's a businessman. You got to know when to lie. He's got expertise in business and engineering, right? So these are fluffy. Obviously, if I was just building a character just to be a villain, right, I could ignore these, but I don't. If you watch my channel and watch my stuff, I don't just pick stuff just to make the character, badass in combat, right? He's got to be a businessman first. He's got to have these skills in his life before, he becomes a villain, before he gets the suit and all this other stuff. You got to reflect that. Insight, see right here, I'm a noob. I forgot to add all this together. I'll do that later though. There'll be a link in the description below. It'll all be properly filled out. So we've got insight, intimidation, investigation. So these are all going to be pretty high. They're going to be over double digits, right, with his stats. Perception is really high. Persuasion, right, businessman. It's got to work the con, work the deals. Technology, he's really good in technology. Once again, ignore these 16s. Don't know why they like that. So yeah, that's basically it. So I put a lot of point in skills, right? Because remember, we built the character first. Then we gave him powers, the suit. I gave appropriate advantages. And then we go up here to offense. So he's got unarmed. The beams from the gauntlets and the force blast all have plus 15s to hit. And they all... What the hell? What is that right there? Derp. All right, so then, all this damage. Sorry, I was having a rough one there with copy and pasting earlier today. All right, there we go. All good. So initiative plus 16. All of his damage effects do 15 damage apiece with a 15 to hit. So I did max the damage output, but his defenses are still pretty good. Like his dodge and his toughness is 24, only 6 down from the maximum, which is still really good. Some of you may not think so, but remember, right? This guy is smart. He's more of a mastermind that relies on the suit if he needs to. This guy's going to be plotting, thinking, strategizing 2, 3, 4 steps ahead. He's a chess player. He's not just going to fly into your base and start punching all of the heroes. Like, that's not how this character's going to work. But if you're interested, we're going to go into the story time here in just a second. So, with this, let's go ahead and get into that. All right, gamers. So let's go into the story time. How does Reginald Deckard join the Fraternal Order of Evil? How does he become partners with Thanatos? So, like I've kind of hinted at, so he's going to be a businessman. He's going to be well-known in the business community. Runs a global business, technology, weapons, arms, computer tech, all this other kinds of stuff. He's an inventor. But in the last maybe 10, 15 years of his life, he's been afflicted by some kind of disease or cancer that's confined him to a wheelchair. So his physical stats have kind of withered away. But his mind is still super sharp. But obviously he has aspirations. Like he doesn't want to die. He's only 67. He's got more things to do in his life. He's got ideas and plans. He just knows that this disease is gonna take him before he's ready to go, before he's completed what he thinks is going to be like his life mission. Now, he's going to be approached by Thanatos. How, you ask? Well, obviously, she's able to impersonate people. So she's able to infiltrate. The tower is his personal retinue, the people that are around him. And then she reveals herself at a pivotal moment. Maybe when he's talking about his ideas, his aspirations, like she sees a moment of weakness. Maybe he's crying because he knows that his life is going to end before he's able to accomplish all of this stuff. And that she sees a moment to strike, not physically, but emotionally. She reveals herself and then offers a solution that she will be able to sustain him, to give him the ability to live longer, to heal him. At a price, a little quid pro quo. I help you, you help me, something for something. Well, she's going to need, obviously she's going to want her to start her own empire. And she believes that this man, Reginald, is going to be able to do that for her. He's got the connections, he's got the contacts, he's well informed, right? He knows people who know people who know people. He's going to be able to make the calls and put links of the chain together. They're going to bring in other villains, make business arrangements, money, the things that are going to allow her to take over the world. Not because she just wants to rule it, but because she believes that she deserves to rule it, because she's like a princess kind of mentality, but an older one, right? Well, I can't rule at home. I'm going to come here and rule these sheep, these cattle around here that are below me, kind of thing. So she's using this man, but she respects him for what he does and what he knows. And then he's reluctant at first, like, I don't want to be a villain. I don't want to put this together. But she's like, well, just think if you ruled at my side as part of my organization, my empire, all of your aspirations, everything you were just talking about would come to fruition. That would come to pass. And the idea of that is just too enticing for him, and he can't pass it up. So he decides to join. She uses her healing abilities, her divine abilities to heal him just enough, like basically remove the affliction just enough to where it's no longer threatening his life. But there's still, that's the first part of the deal, a little for you, and then now you've got to do for me. So if we were going to start the story, that's kind of where it would be. Like all the villains he'd bring them all together. We would have our fraternity of evil, and they would be together, and they would be plotting and scheming and working the numbers and trying to take over the world, and the heroes would be constantly working to stop them. So he's not full on evil yet, but he knows that in order to do what he needs to do and his life kind of hangs in the balance, he has to play along. Now, this battle suit, obviously she's not going to want some withered old man that's going to get bullied by these heroes. She sees he's going to need a way to defend himself. So they work. They build up like a prototype mechanical, like a mech suit, like a battle suit, Iron Man style, but a reliable power supply that's going to last almost indefinitely. That's going to power it and make it efficient. Doesn't exist. Well, she's like, well, guess what I can make? And she's going to create this power source with her divine power for this suit. And that's why the suit has the divine power supply. It's powered by her magical abilities, her divine power that she's got. And that's what's going to give it all of its power. Right? So, she pays in. He does his part. She pays in a little bit. He's going to do his part. Obviously, what she's thinking that what she's going to get from him is more than what she's going to put in, but that's how she sees it. And he probably sees that as well, but to get what he wants and to not suffer an early death, like he's willing to play along with it. All right, gamers. So I hope you like that build. I hope you like this character. If you don't want to decide to use a character like this in your game, check out the link in the description box below so you can download the character if you want. Use it as a template. Make your own changes if you like. Hit the like button for me if you liked the video. Also, if you want to support my channel, hit the subscribe button. And if you do that, don't forget the bell icon so you get instant notifications when I upload new content, so you can be the first to view and comment. Also, I'd love for you guys to join us over on Discord. We're still having some great conversations over there. If you've got some questions, come over there. There's quite a lot of us that are willing to put our heads together, spark up some conversations, and create some new awesome ideas for all the games we play. Also, follow me over on Twitter at GameMastersDone1. I periodically post updates, things going on in my gaming life, my Warhammer 40k stuff, maybe some stuff I'm thinking about doing for the channel. If you've got ideas, something maybe you would like to see, you can throw those over on Twitter or in the comment section below. I want to see them either way. So, until I see you again in the dungeon, I'm Brian, your Game Master, and happy gaming.